Are you looking to sharpen your budgeting skills? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Budget Couple Podcast, where we talk about life, family, and how to afford it. And now, the Budget Couple themselves, Nate and Danielle.
Welcome to the Budget Couple Podcast. I'm Nate.
And I'm Danielle.
And we're back. We apologize for the disruption there. Life's been good, but there's been some challenges here. And we're kind of going through everything. And we wanted to get back on schedule to our every other Friday kind of release schedule here. We have a lot of exciting stuff planned that we want to do. And hopefully you'll join us for the ride.
Yeah, sorry for the big delay. We've missed you guys and we've missed recording. Life has been hitting us in the face a little bit, so we want to get back at it now. And we're gonna start this episode actually with an update for you guys, but we're gonna get back into answering questions next time.
Yes, so we're gonna take a look at quarter two. We did this a few months ago with the first quarter, and it's really the first time we looked at kind of our goals, where we're at, and what we're doing. And I don't know if we've done that before, where we kind of looked at a set period of time and how we're doing. Have we done that before?
I feel like we might have done it once, but this is actually a really good time for a lot of reasons that we'll go through to give you an update on our lives and our finances and let you know what some of our short-term and long-term goals are.
Absolutely. So where we last left off, we had a $30,000 loan for our kitchen and bathroom that we redid, and we were about $6,000 away from being done now. I'm happy to say that as of the 18th of June, we have paid that entirely off. So we no longer have that loan. We have 2 loans left in our life that we'll talk about in just a little bit. But breaking down that, we opened up that loan in July of 2018, and we paid that $30,000 off in 11 months. For the privilege of being able to borrow $30,000, we paid $778.58 worth of interest. So in 11 months, we cost ourselves almost $1,000 worth of interest just because we didn't want to save.
Yeah, I was going to say, the moral of the story is you could have saved yourself $778 if you had been willing to wait for a kitchen and bathroom for 11 months. We just weren't. So
yeah, we weren't, and it was something we were okay with doing. We knew it was going to be a cost, and we knew we'd be able to pay off the loan quickly, so we did that. If you break down an interest rate, it basically means we paid an additional $70 a month for the right to borrow $30,000. Over that time period, we averaged about $2,728 a month on principal, and that makes everything all in. We paid roughly about $2,800 a month for 11 months to pay off that loan. Now, that did not happen all evenly. For the very beginning of that loan, we paid very much like $600 a month, which was just above what we had to pay. And then after tax season, when we got to see all that stuff shake out, we really piled on and used all the money in our savings account that was extra that we saved for taxes that we wound up not having to owe, and threw it at that loan. So we were able to get rid of that loan, and it's been a really nice feeling.
Yeah, it was a little sporadic, and that's kind of how it's gone for us over the years when we've tried to put money towards something. You want to go for an average each month, but that's really all it's going to be. It's generally going to be an average, because you're going to have some months where you can put a ton in and other months where you are a little bit low. And that might depend on things you have to pay when it comes to like car repairs or something that month. Or for us, and maybe a lot of America, we really didn't know what to expect for tax season this year. So we did sock away quite a bit of money, just to be sure. We weren't sure if we were going to have to owe quite a bit. So it ended up that we had a lot left over, and it worked out. We were able to go ahead and take care of the loan pretty quickly.
Yeah, and really what a lot of that loan felt like, especially towards the end, was we just wanted to be rid of it. When it was like $15,000 or $20,000, it just felt like a monthly payment that we had to do. But once we got down around like the single digits and thousands, it really felt like this is a monkey we need to get off our back, and we're going to pay as much as we possibly can to get rid of it. And during those months when we were really on fire with that, we stuck to our budget incredibly well, which is not something I think we can say earlier on in the life of that loan.
Probably. So moving on to what we have left on our actual mortgage, not our second mortgage, our house, we have $268,000 left, which still just scares me saying that out loud. But we're on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 3.875% interest rate now. So not a bad interest rate in the grand scheme of things, at all. But we are exploring the idea of refinancing the loan actually for a second time. This would be the second time we've
In about 2 years.
refinanced. Yeah. Because the interest rates are getting a bit lower now, and because we feel like we can move to a 15-year mortgage. So the 15-year mortgage would actually lower the interest rates quite a bit. So we're hoping to get somewhere around 3%.
Or lower. Come on, lower.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like much. It's still less than 1%, but like that over the course of a 30 or 15 even year loan is quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're looking at here is if we were to secure that loan around 3% for the remaining balance of our mortgage of $268,000, it's going to increase our monthly mortgage payments by about $600, give or take a little bit because numbers aren't final. But that's roughly where, math-wise, I figured that it's going to be about. Now, the nice thing about that is we just paid off our second mortgage, which had a minimum payment on it of right around $600. So as far as our budget goes, it doesn't change. The only difference now is that that money's going towards our house and not towards basically something we already have as far as a kitchen or bathroom. It's going towards the actual house, not things we added on or built onto the house.
So, I mean, really, this is a good thing all around. The only thing we have to still consider on this is the cost of refinancing. So there are fees generally associated with refinancing. And so we are trying to shop around a little bit. We've started with our current company and gotten their numbers, and then we're going to move on and do a couple other calls and, see what's out there basically and weigh our options as to what interest rate we can get and how many fees we have to pay out of pocket initially.
Yeah. So basically this means our budget doesn't change. We have the same budget that we've had for the past 11 months, but we pay off our house roughly 10 years quicker and we save a ton of money in interest because that 0.875% or whatever percentage is massive. If you looked at just our loan for the $30,000, we paid $750 roughly in interest over 11 months. This is over 10 years that we're saving that kind of money and on a significantly larger amount of money. So it's a big deal and we're really excited about it.
Now, we would probably be paying, no, not probably. We would be paying extra on the house regardless of whether we refinance to a 15-year or not. We would be acting like we were under that 15-year no matter what. But this really puts it on paper. And obviously it helps with the interest rates, but it also helps, I think, with your mindset. You have 15 years written in stone now. You're not just putting extra payments towards a 30-year. You're on a 15-year. So it just does something to you mentally, I think. So I'm hopeful for it.
And also what's really cool about it right now is our son is 3 years old. So if we got this finalized, that means we are out of house payments if we paid it off in just the 15 years by the time he graduates high school, which again is something very exciting to both of us, I think.
Yeah, definitely a life goal. So the only other thing that we have that we're still paying off is our car. And if you've listened for a while, we have an electric car, a Leaf. And we have about $11,000 left on it, but it's a zero interest loan. So we're just literally paying the amount. And it's broken down to like $320 a month. And we're just paying the monthly costs. We aren't trying to pay this off any quicker because it's 0% interest. So I'd rather that money go into retirement or the house or something that's going to get us a higher interest.
Exactly. If you have something that's 0%, it's not costing you anything. It's free money. Whereas if we take any extra money we have and put it on the house, we're saving on that interest rate of 3.875 or whatever it gets refinanced to. Whereas the car, if we put extra on it, it doesn't save us any money. Even if we took that extra money and put it into the stock market averages 7% returns. I'm missing out on 7% returns if I put extra money onto the car. So just this basic math tells you it's way better to go and just put what you owe on it and not a dime more.
Now, the only thing I'll say is that there's, of course, risk that you have $11,000 hanging over your head out there. And it might hurt you if you have a lot of other debt and you're trying to get a loan. So, it might not be the right move for everyone. If you want to get rid of that debt and it's 0% interest, go for it. I think every situation is different, but we're comfortable enough having that out there that we're just going to pay the minimum.
Right. And it's also not like a consumer debt where it's 0% interest on a TV where we'd probably just pay it off because it's not a big chunk. But $11,000 is a very big chunk and it doesn't really do anything for us to pay that off early.
So a couple other updates. We're still we're still maxing out our Roth IRAs, which increased this year. Actually, I think it's $6,000. Yeah, $6,000 a year for both of us, or each of us. Sorry. I had a transition at work, and it landed me a $8,000 raise. So yay!
Yes.
And Nate will actually be making $4,000 more next school year, just as part of his normal yearly raise.
Right, which won't take effect until early August, or late August, should I say, early September.
So we actually were being naughty and only putting, I think, around 12 or 13% of our income into retirement. And 15 is kind of the golden standard, 15%. So I took the opportunity of my raise to go ahead and take my 401k from 6% contribution to 9% contribution. And that puts us right at 15% of our overall income as a couple. So we're where we want to be now with retirement, at least for the time being.
Right. And that means Danielle's raise basically all goes into a 401k. We don't see any of it until we retire. And that's fine.
Okay.
Because we're not hurting right now, and it's okay to have more money when we retire. I approve of that.
Yeah. Yep.
So when we take a look here, our goal at the beginning of the year roughly was to try to get rid of this second mortgage before my paychecks run out. I'm a teacher. I get paid on 10 months. So as soon as June hits, or should I say the middle of June, I run out of paychecks. I don't get paid anymore until September rolls around. So our goal was to go ahead and get that loan done with, and we accomplished that goal, which feels great. It doesn't even feel like we did it right now. Like, I'm still kind of in a surreal kind of feeling, because I know we did it. I know it's not going to be on next month's budget, but we did it. So it feels really good. So we accomplished that goal. The next thing we're doing is setting our sights on the refinance. So that $30,000, while it was nice to get rid of, it wasn't a big number. It doesn't move the needle a lot as far as overall debt. Where we can move the needle as far as overall debt is refinancing the house. That's going to move the needle a whole bunch, because that's on $268,000. If we can pay that off 10 years sooner and get a lower interest rate, that's right up our alley, and that's what we're going to shoot for here.
Yep, absolutely. So we do, of course, plan on putting any extra money we can still down on the house each month. Even with that $600 increase, we still should be able to put quite a bit extra in. And, our long-term goal is actually to pay the house off in more like 10 to 12 years, which would be great. We're not, me personally, I'm the pessimist, and I'm thinking, we're going to have to replace the roof within that time. I want to go on trips every year. And, there are going to be things that slow us down off and on. And that's why I feel like getting on this 15-year just keeps us on the right path. But we are hopeful we can get to 10 to 12 years, though. That's just one of our goals.
Yeah, and that's a long-term goal. I mean, we've talked in the past about short, medium, and long-term goals. I don't think we really have a short-term goal right now, which we need to figure out what we want to do with the money that we have when that comes up. A medium-term goal is to just continue paying off debt, get the car done, because that will be done in about 3 years' time. And then our long-term goal is obviously to pay off the house. And that's kind of where we're sitting right now, and we're pretty comfortable with that. We just need to figure out a short-term goal to keep us on budget and keep us motivated for what we want to do. So if you have an idea for a short-term goal that we could shoot for, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, short-term goals are always traveling. But you have to have enough leave to go on the kind of trips I want to go on.
Yeah, she wants to travel the world, and we're going to do that. It's just going to take some time to get there. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for today's episode. If you have any questions, please drop us at budgetcouple.com and click on that contact form, and we'll be back in contact with you. Also, remember to please leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts or your podcast listener of choice. For those of you who left them, thank you so much. There's been some really nice, kind words out there, and we read all of them, and we really appreciate the time and care that you put into the reviews. But that's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in 2 Fridays.
All right, and look forward to answering some of your questions once we get back on track here. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Budget Couple Podcast with your hosts, Nate and Danielle. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit budgetcouple.com. Make sure to check out the next episode of the Budget Couple Podcast, where we'll talk more about life, family, and how to afford it. We'll catch you next time.